What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since, actually, it hadn't been that long since I did a video, but it's been a while since I did one in my car. I know you see the band-aid on my face. No, I don't think I'm Nelly or anything. I'm just trying to cover up something that showed up overnight. I assume it's a pimple, but it's just a little bit more extreme than typical. But anyway, that's not what I came to talk about this morning. Was my face or my Nelly reenactment of his first CD. But anyway, I was just wanting to talk about overcompensation. Us as parents, we tend to overcompensate for either an absent parent. We overcompensate for what we don't have. We overcompensate on a number of reasons. For what we didn't have as a kid growing up. There's so much overcompensation. You don't want your kid to feel bad. You don't want your kid to suffer. Nobody wants their kid to suffer. Even when we say, if you don't listen, you're going to find out, or keep on doing that and you'll see. Even though we say those things, we make those phrases, we really would hope that they'd listen to us. But in the event that they don't listen to us, we still tend to overcompensate for what they are lacking. So whether in my case, my kids lack a father figure, my kids get that extra information about what it was like when I was a kid and we were homeless, and you don't want to be like that, so you need to get out and work for yours. You need to be on your grind. The reality of all of this is your parenting does not suck. You are not a bad parent. You are a concerned parent. You are a parent that wants your kid to have more, or to feel like they're equal or on the same battlefield as others. But at the same time, we forget to put our faith in God. So even though we don't want our kids to suffer and we don't want them to deal with the same things we did or dealt with, you might have a stubborn kid. Your kid might be just like you. And with that being said, does that make it a bad thing? No, but you know who you are, so don't get so upset about your kid being you. But you do want to make sure that you teach them not to make the same mistakes. I mean, all you can do is tell them about it. All you can do is teach them, and then they have to make the choice of whether to do it or not. Just like we had a choice to make right or wrong decisions, they have the same thing. And we have to remember that God created us to have choice. Not saying that we give our kids lots of options, especially when they're under the age of 18. But once they're over the age of 18, when they start making certain decisions and you've already communicated about it and why it's not okay, you have to just ride it out. And I'm not saying this because I've perfected this in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying this because if you don't, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna cause yourself all kinds of grief and everything. You have to trust that the God that you serve and the information that you put in them is going to at some point come out of them. It's just like when we read the word, when we spend time with God, when we pray, that in any particular time, we never know when we might tap into what we learned or what God had for us. And the same goes for our children. Even though they're rebellious, even though they're doing any and everything, we have to trust and believe that they won't allow themselves to get so far, or even if they do get so far, they do realize that God is right there with them through it all. But the other is, what did mom teach me? What did dad teach me? What did my aunt teach me, or my uncle teach me, or my grandmother teach me, or my grandfather teach me? Depending on what who your kid stays with, right? But or who is raising the kid. Like for me, I raised my children. They had a constant father figure for a while, but now they don't, and they didn't in the beginning. So now it's the adjustment to that and the suffering that goes with that. Because even though we're suffering because we're going through a situation, we have to remember that so are our children. We have to remember that they're little people, they're little humans, and then as they grow up, they become young adults, and so they have feelings too. We might tell them you don't have a right to feel, or whatever it is, depending on who you are, because you're not going through nothing, you're not suffering, but actually they are. And again, I say, I'm not saying this because I've perfected anything. I'm not saying this because I truly know everything. I'm saying this because I deal with it on a regular basis. And I have to learn that I can't fix everybody. I can't fix everything. No matter how much I want to save my children from hurt, harm, and danger, and from suffering, that even that is not going to happen. Like, you can block as much as you can, but at some point they have to learn for themselves. And so all you can do is be supportive, but being supportive does not mean being a crutch. It does not mean being a bank teller for them. It does not mean allow them to be disrespectful or any of those things. Supportive is, you go do you. I'll keep you prayed up. I hope you keeping you prayed up. But just understand and know that if you're in these four walls that are my household, or if you're within this threshold, that I have certain rules that you must follow. And if you can't follow those rules, then you are more than welcome to go out the door and do you the best way you know how. But understand and know that in order for you to stay in this place or to live in this house, there's a bit of a requirement. And you're no longer a child. You're no longer allowed the irresponsibility that you could fall on before, especially if you think you're grown and you want to do grown things. And we have to trust and believe that God has them in the middle of that. And we can go back to the prodigal son. What happened with the prodigal son? He told his dad, "Give me my stuff, give me my inheritance now, and I'm leaving you." And he went and did whatever the heck he wanted to do. That didn't change the fact that the son was loved by the father. So it doesn't change the fact that I love my children. It wouldn't change the fact that you love your kids. But sometimes you're going to have to let them get out there and make the mistakes that they're going to make. And then either they're going to come back, either they're going to come to themselves and realize that, maybe what mom or dad or whoever was telling me wasn't as bad as I thought. I was just being rebellious. I was just thinking that they didn't know anything. But the reality is, when we all get older, we realize certain things that certain people told us, they were telling us right. They were not trying to just control all of our lives. They actually were giving us some nuggets so we wouldn't have to deal with it ourselves. But some of us are hard-headed, and what I was the same way when I was a kid. I used to tell my mom, well, I have to make my own mistakes. That's immature, that's childish, that is having lack of knowledge. That is, now I realize that is just not knowing what others knew or what she knew. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking, but just know and understand that when we communicate with our children, when we are in this place, that we just start to get to that place where we just pray for them and let it go. Because if we try to dwell on it, we're going to make ourselves sick. If we try to fix it, if we try to change it, it's just like our significant others. If we're constantly trying to make them do something or act in a way, we have to understand that we're going to suffer if we do. So stay up, stay blessed, and know that you are loved. And don't give in to allowing your children to sin, but do allow them to be themselves. And you have to let go and let God. So no more overcompensating people. No more digging in and doing those things. Let them be them. Be blessed, or stay blessed.